So we can get focused on all the intensity, which we tend to do. And then we can also drill down deeply into the possibility there, which we tend to not do. Particularly now that we have Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, and Virgo. Exalted Mercury ruling Jupiter and Venus. Enormous qualities of creativity and growth, especially, again, if you have something to do. If you have some great work that you're doing and stuff that where you're creative in your life, it's a great time. Enormous creativity. I see it all around me. I deal with a lot of, students who are creating things. My students are flourishing like crazy because they got something to do. They got something to be focused on. It becomes really despondent when you don't have anything to focus on. And this is why, like I say, and I'm not just talking about studying with me, but this is why I say all the time in readings and in whatnot that you need to fill your life with what you love so that you have something to be inspired by and to focus on. When that happens, all the intensity gets framed around this thing that you are showing up to accomplish. Instead, we focus on trying to be happy all the time and trying to be happy with others, and our whole life revolves around that. And if we don't have a higher purpose, a higher mission, it doesn't have to be some big changing the world, but just something that really inspires us, like our spiritual practice, our creativity. Creativity doesn't mean you write books or you write poems or whatever. It just means creative in a lot of ways. We can be creative in any number of ways. When that's lacking, these times get really hard because we don't have anything to apply ourselves to. So if you're really feeling the pain and struggle of that, it's because you're not applying yourself to something that's inspiring, that's motivating, that's bigger than just all of that. Because if we don't have something that's bigger than all of that, then we're going to get sucked down into that when the challenges arise, rather than having those things make us even more grounded. I'll just say this last thing. That's what I wind up seeing. As things get more intense, usually in life now, because I have so much work, as things get more intense, I actually have to concentrate even more, and it takes me to an even deeper level of focus and of awareness and of breakthroughs and of it's not it's difficult too. Within that there's all kinds of difficulties that I've personally had to be dealing with the last few months and all. But when you have when you have things that you need to do and you have to show up for it, like I can't just not teach my students. I can't just not show up for readings. I can't just not, like for instance, launch my certification course for this year. I can't just not do that stuff. And so having to show up, I can't just not do this. Having to show up and do things in the midst of that makes you have to get more focused. Whereas if you don't have anything to show up for, then it doesn't, and actually getting focused brings those energies into focus. Having to get more focused about a course or whatever brings out the greatness of that Mars in Scorpio, ruling that Saturn in Scorpio, that Sun in Leo about to be eclipsed, that Jupiter, Mercury, Venus in Virgo. All of that creativity and that vision and that discipline, it gets more concentrated when you have something to concentrate on. It sounds simple, but that's what I mean. And it gets more difficult when you don't have anything to concentrate on. Then you just feel stuck in it because then it's just emotional. And this is what karma is. Karma is action. It's the actions you're taking. So this is why great gurus tell you to find the things that you love and do them. Do the things you love only. Because that's what karma is. It's action. And when you're doing the things that you love, you will show up when the karma gets tough. Because this is tough karma. And it's showing you, it's revealing through your actions how connected you are to your heart, basically, to love and beauty and connection and contribution and those bigger things, the reason you're here. It's being revealed in your actions. When you have big things to do, your actions wind up getting bigger when it gets more difficult. Again, we can focus on the negative things, but look at what just happened a couple weeks. We just had the Olympics, right, in Rio. Look at all those people. And look at the amazing things that happened. I mean, there were some great stories, right? I mean, you have nothing but gold medal winners doing amazing things in the midst of all this stuff. So we focus on all this terrible stuff, but there's amazing stuff happening at the same time. You know, so these people had this great thing to focus on, and they did it. So anyway, enough of that little sort of pep talk. So there'll be more of it on Sunday in a couple days. I'll talk about how this Leo eclipse is going to affect all 12 signs. And I hope this was helpful for you. We got going pretty good here after a slow start, and a couple videos today. So take care.